This segment is brought to you by Sugar Babies. Join our live Desperados show and meet your favorite players at Sugar Babies Barbecue in Louisville every Tuesday night at 7 p.m.
And welcome back to the Built Ford Tough Blitz. It's not only Bill Jones and Brad Sham and Mickey Spagnola, but it's our pleasure now to be joined by the starting quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
It's the best I can do
from
for
Brad
a drum
Sham,
roll.
and Tony Romo is here. Hello, Tony.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Doing very well. You enjoy these OTAs? You seem to enjoy it out there.
Yeah, definitely. I think anytime you get a chance to kind of, see the stuff you've been working on, see if it's going to come to fruition a little bit, I think it's exciting.
How can you tell what progress is being made when you're in shorts and the action's not live?
Oh, you could tell, especially at the quarterback and wide receiver position. I mean, you're working on routes. Your footwork is still going to be the same. I mean, theoretically, you'd love to get it to where it almost feels like it's routes on air. In a game, you'd love to get to where you just drop back and throw a ball and you don't think about anything else except for your receiver and you. And sometimes you're able to do that in a game, not all the time, but, you just want to make it feel like a rhythm type of move.
You were saying last week, and you said it again today, it's fun to come out here and see if the things you're working on are getting better. Do you mean that from a team standpoint or even from your personal standpoint on maybe some technique stuff you're working on?
I think both, but, at this time of the year, I think more in terms of it's a time for me to base the stuff I like to improve upon each year. This is a good time for me to gauge whether or not I can really take this into the season. So individually, I work pretty hard at certain things, and I'll sacrifice certain throws once in a while out here, or things that I'm going to do a little differently, just to see if this thing can, or these things that I'm working on will be able to carry over to a game. And that's what you're trying to do all the time as an athlete, is try and improve and take something to the next step.
Anything you want to be specific about what you're working on?
It would take too long, honestly.
Well, we've got a couple of minutes. And, I mean, seriously, footwork, vision, what things are you trying to, when you looked at your stuff at the end of the year and said to yourself, okay, I got to be better at that. What's the that?
Well, I don't look at it quite like people do when they watch the game, where it's like, oh, some people see, well, he needs to throw this ball better. It's not necessarily that. I'm kind of to the point where I feel strongly enough about making all the throws. Now it's about how can I get myself into a position to make the throws faster, or get myself into a position to get through the reads quicker.
You're talking about your body center of gravity, footwork, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, in a way. And part of it is, here's an example, and this is why I said it would take a little while, but if I take a 7-step drop, and I'm going to go ahead and read a guy who's running a 15-yard in cut in the middle of the field to a guy who's going to cross underneath him, and then to the back who's over here on my left. So I'm going to really be reading down the middle, to the right, to my back. Now, last year, and a lot of quarterbacks do it, I would say the majority of them do, you drop back, and this is what you get taught as a youngster and as you grow up. You drop back, you set your feet to throw the first one, then you got to reset your feet to throw the second one, and you got to reset your feet to throw the third one. Well, in that process, you get back and you start moving into your throw a little bit. It's just your body shift, it's just a little bit. So from 1, now to 2, to 3, what you don't realize sometimes is that by the time you've gotten back to get to your third read, you've moved up a good 3-4 yards in the pocket. So you've created a more difficult time for your center and guards, because all of a sudden they feel like you're going to be a 7-step drop, you're going to be at 7 to 9 yards deep. All of a sudden you're at 5. The timing of everything feels faster to you. So as you're going through your read, now everyone does it. It's a majority thing, but as I sat down and thought about it, it was something I was like, I don't think you need to do that. You can feel the rush and everything in front of you. If a guy wants to come wide, a subtle climb in the pocket, but still keeps you stationary as the guy goes by instead of continually moving forward. And so you're able to get yourself set in a new position, but not 5 yards from center, but it's 7 yards from center.
So basically, without maybe resetting your feet, just kind of shifting them a little.
Now here's where the next step is, and I'm probably going to take up your whole show with this.
That's what we want.
This is pretty good, so go ahead, keep talking.
But the next step then is, they teach you all the time to get into an athletic position to throw the football. So it's difficult because you almost need that little climb to throw a ball 25 yards down the middle of the field from where you're standing. So you need that little bit of your movement going forward to get something on the ball, to get it to there, or to back over here. So in the process, that tells you, well, how can you then not continue to move forward but still get enough velocity on the ball to throw the in cut at 25 yards? Well, that was the next step, was, I need to learn how to throw the ball from a standing higher position. So if you pictured, let's say, Tom Brady, it almost seems like he stands tall and he doesn't move much when he's in the pocket. He's learned how to throw a football from almost people would call it an athletic position where you're like a shortstop kind of a deal when you're getting ready to throw. You know, Tom stands taller almost, you would say. Almost like he's looking out and he still has the ability to do that. Whereas the guy you would, almost every other quarterback would throw from the normal position that's lower. Well, what you had to do then is you need to work to have the ability to stand tall and still throw the 15-yard dig cut, which ends up being a 25-yard throw from where you're at. You know, if you can stand tall, you shuffle a little bit, but you're still reset and you're able to stand here. Now, can you get yourself to do that and still make all the throws? It's a subtle climb, it's a little thing, but the ability to stand tall allows your feet to be quiet, so you're not continually moving forward, getting all your leverage into each throw. But by the time you've gone through 1, 2, 3, or 4 reads, all of a sudden now you've only moved half a yard to a yard.
Mm-hmm. And that's improved your, it looks like it's improved your blocking. Actually, it just allows them to have a little comfort.
They have more time to block now. You have your base always under you, so you never get your feet out from under you where you're too far forward. And now you got to move something drastically because people are around you to get back over here. It's just still a subtle thing. And there's a whole nother set that I really am not going to go into, but the next step was really a neat thing for me too. That was like the beginning of it. And now there's another part of it that I think has been pretty good these last couple weeks.
You know, and one of the things I think people forget about is last year was your first full year to start in the NFL, so I'm assuming you had other things you were worried about instead of things like that. So is there any other approach you take differently now that you've got one full season under your belt when you get into these off-season workouts?
Well, I think that's a good question. I mean, when you first start off, there's so many things going on. I mean, as a rookie, it's different than my 4th year when I was playing, you know, and you're right. As I started last year, you know, when I'm a rookie, it's about getting the snap count and getting the play called. You know, last year was a little bit of that because we had a whole new offensive coaching staff. So it was kind of, hey, we need to get that part of it still. And then on top of it, you need to get guys to be on the same page with you and routes to be run. You still got to throw the football and all that, you know. You're always working individually, but you need to get things in tune with the rhythm of a play with everybody. These things you do now are almost things that take you to the next step as an individual. And the team, just being out here practicing on a daily basis, they'll get better as a team, you know, in that respect.
Tell us one guy who's new to the offense this year who you've looked at and said, oh, might like that.
I think Felix Jones is going to definitely help us a lot. He's got a real nice package of things that we're going to use, I think. But his ability to squirt and get through and do some things is, you know, you have to tell the first day that he's going to definitely be a part of our offense.
So create some new plays that you can use just specific for him?
Yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of it is he has the ability to, you know, just do some things not everybody can. And you can see it right away. He's got a good shift, a good little balance, and he's able to move his feet quickly and get in and out of cuts. And the mix between him and Marion is going to be real tough on defense.
That was really good stuff. Thank you.
Yeah,
and
you know, the maturation of you as an NFL quarterback, it kind of mirrors this team. How excited are you right now, knowing that you're so far along in this process, and your teammates are too, that this season could be a special one?
It's just, I keep talking to guys a little bit about, every once in a while we go back and look at history, and I kind of like the history of the game and you know, the players that have come before us, and you get to watch and learn from them. And we talk about the Broncos a little bit, how they went, I think it was 13-3, and they were the #1 seed, and they lost to Jacksonville in the playoffs in their playoff game, and then they came back and won the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. And you know, they could have won it maybe the year before, you never know, but they came back and did it, you know, right after the same a similar situation what we just went through this year. So we're hoping to take the same approach and hopefully be the team to beat here for a while.
All right, Tony Romo, we appreciate you joining us here on the Blitz, and we're going to take a trip over to Arlington, that new Cowboys Stadium, when we come back in a moment.
Take off this summer, Texas,